Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome you all in PIST Virtual Learning Session 2020. Hope you all fine and enjoying your virtual learning classes. Alhamdulillah. So, dear students, this lecture is for grade first year, and this is our 35th video lecture, subject computer science, and we are on chapter number 6, wireless communication. Today we are going to start mobile device communication, features of mobile communication, TCP/IP, and then we will discuss TCP/IP architecture. So dear students, a mobile phone is an electronic device used for mobile telecommunications over a cellular network of specialized base station known as cell sites. A cell phone offers full duplex communication and transfer the link when the user moves from the one cell to another. As the phone user moves from one cell area to another, the system automatically commands the mobile phone and a cell site with a stronger signal to switch on to a new frequency in order to keep the link. Mobile phone is a primarily designed for voice communication. In addition to the standard voice function, new generation mobile phones support many additional services and accessories such as SMS, short message service for text messaging, email, packet switching for access to the internet, gaming, Bluetooth camera with video recording, and MMS for sending and receiving photos and videos, MP3 player, and radio and GPS. So dear students, nowadays mobile communication involves the use of mobile device such as mobile phones, smartphones, PDAs, and laptops and tablets, computer. So mobile communication devices give the freedom to communication with others or access information anywhere. And these devices improve our efficiency and productivity. So nowadays everyone have smartphone and the mobile phone and using all the features provided by the mobile phone companies. So we can send SMS, MMS, we can use Bluetooth, camera, video recording, gaming, internet surfing. All these things are combined on a mobile phone communication. So requirements of mobile communication. Communication between mobile phone is established by connecting to a cellular network, as you can view in the figure. So in the figure, we have switching node transmit signal to base station. Then base station send the signal, switching node transmit signal to mobile phone B. Here suppose we have a mobile phone A. Here we have a mobile phone B, and these are the switching node, and these are used to transmit the signal to the base station. These antennas and amplifiers and boosters are used to amplify and redirect the signals and transmit to the base station. Then base station switch over and switching the node terminator signal to mobile phone B. Suppose this mobile phone wants to send the data to mobile phone B, so it will switch over to the transmit signal to the base station switch over the signal to the mobile phone B. Okay, so this is the method and the procedure how communication can be done with the help of mobile phone and on a cellular network. The following are the components required for mobile communication: mobile phone, base station, switching node, landline telephone network. So first of all, we have mobile phone. Mobile phone is a device that allow us to make and receive calls over a network. Over a cellular network. Modern mobile phones also support services such as text messaging, MMS, email, and internet. So very commonly nowadays we are using mobile phone. Everyone have mobile phone and they are using these services like messaging, MMS, email, and internet, and all the features and all services provided by the mobile phone. Then we have a base station. Base station communicates with many mobile phones at the same time. It is equipped with a transceiver, and antenna for transmitting and receiving signals from mobile phones. It is responsible for handling traffic and signaling between mobile phone. So basically base station is responsible to handling traffic between mobile phones, okay? And then we have a switching node. Switching node is a component of cellular network that carries out switching and mobility management functions for mobile phones on network for base station. Switching nodes are owned and deployed by mobile phone operators and allow mobile phone to communicate with each other and telephone landline network. So this is switching node, which is a component of a cellular network that carries out switching and mobility management function for mobile phones on network of base station. Switching nodes are owned and deployed by the mobile phone operator and allow mobile phones to communicate with each other and telephone landline network. Then we have landline. Telephone landline network is a wide public switch telephone network, PSTN, that is connected with cellular network to provide communication between mobile phone and telephone on PSTN. So this is telephone landline, which is provide PSTN, that is connected the cellular network to provide communication between mobile phone and telephone on PSTN. Mobile phone converts voice, text, multimedia messages, or data calls into radio frequency RF. Mobile phone base station transmit and receive these RF signals and connect callers to other phones and other networks. Mobile phone network is divided into thousands of overlapping individual geographical areas or cells, each with a base station. The size of a cell depends on the area of coverage and the number of calls that are made in that area. The smallest cells are in crowded urban areas with large buildings and heavy population density, while the biggest cells are in rural areas where people are dispersed. There are two types of channel used in GSM. These are control channel and traffic channel. These are control and traffic channel which we have in mobile communication. So any device that does not need to remain at one place to carry out its function is a mobile device. So laptops, smartphones, and personal digital assistants are some examples of mobile devices. So mobile device means that any device which can move easily, any device that does not need to remain at one place. It means you can move easily, you can carry out easily. So nowadays laptops, smartphones, and personal digital assistants, PDAs, are examples of mobile devices. Due to their portable nature, mobile devices connect to network wirelessly. Mobile devices typically use radio waves to communicate with other devices and networks. Here we will discuss the protocol used to carry out mobile communication. Mobile communication protocol use multiplexing to send information. Multiplexing is a method to combine multiple digital or analog signals into one signal over the data channel. These ensures optimum utilization of expensive resources and time at the destination. These signals are demultiplexed to recover individual signals. So multiplexing is a method to combine multiple digital or analog signals into one signal over the data channel. It will combine the multiple signals into one signal over a data channel, and it ensures the utilization of expensive resources and time. At the destination, these signals are demultiplexed to recover individual signals. These are the types of multiplexing option available to communicate the channel. FDM, frequency division multiplexing. So frequency division multiplexing means here each user is assigned a different frequency from the complete spectrum. All the frequencies can then simultaneously travel on the data channel. Then we have TDM, time division multiplexing. A single radio frequency is divided into multiple slots, and each slot is assigned to a different user. So multiple users can be support simultaneously. CDMA, code division multiplexing. Here several users share the same frequency spectrum simultaneously. They are differentiated by assigning unique codes to them. The receiver has the unique key to identify the individual calls. So these are the types of multiplexing: FDM, frequency division multiplexing; TDM, time division multiplexing; and CDMA, code division multiplexing. FDM, frequency division multiplexing, each user is assigned a different frequency. In TDM, a single radio frequency is divided into multiple slots. And in CDMA, several users share the same frequency spectrum simultaneously. They are differentiated by assigning unique codes to them. GSM. GSM stands for Global System for Mobile Communication. Global System for Mobile Communication. GSM is one of the most widely used digital wireless telephony system. It was developed in Europe in 1980s and is now international standard in Europe, Australia, Asia, and Africa. Any GSM handset with a SIM and SIM card can be used in any country that uses this standard. Every SIM card has a unique identification number. It has memory to store applications and data like phone numbers, processor to carry out its function, and software to send and receive messages. GSM technology uses TDMA, time division multiple access, to support up to 8 calls simultaneously. It also uses encryption to make the data more secure. So GSM, Global System for Mobile Communication, is one of the most widely used digital wireless telephonic system. It was developed in Europe and mostly use network and the system which we can use in our mobile phone, GSM technology. CDMA. CDMA stands for Code Division Multiple Access. It was first used by the British military during World War II. After the war, its use spread to civilian areas due to high service quality, as each user gets the entire spectrum all the time. Voice quality is very high. Also, it is automatically encrypted and enhanced, provides high security against signal interception and eavesdropping. Then we have WLL. WLL stands for Wireless in Local Loop. It is wireless local telephone service that can be provided in homes or offices. The subscribers connect to their local exchange instead of the central exchange wirelessly. Using wireless link eliminates last mile or first mile construction of network connection, thereby reducing cost and setup time. As data is transferred over very short range, it is more secure than wired networks. WLL system consists of user, handset, and a base station. The base station is connected to the central exchange as well as an antenna. The antenna transmits to and receive calls from users through terrestrial microwave link. Each base station can support multiple handsets depending on its capacity. GPRS. GPRS stands for General Packet Radio Service. It is a packet-based wireless communication technology that charges user based on a volume of data they send rather than the time duration for which they are using the service. This possible because GPRS send data over the network in packet and its throughput depends on network traffic. As traffic increases, service quality may go down due to congestion. Hence, it is logical to charge the user as per data volume transmitted. GPRS is the mobile communication protocol used by second 2G and third generation 3G of mobile telephony. It pledges a speed of 56 kilobits to 114 kilobits per second. However, the actual speed may vary depending on network load. Features and limitation of mobile communication system. Following are the features and limitation of mobile communication system. The features: mobile devices readily access information from the World Wide Web. The validity and accuracy of information cannot be granted since anybody can easily upload any information on website, unlike books that undergo a process of security before publication. Mobile internet user copy and paste information from website without the permission of publisher, and this is violation of property right. This is a violation of law that you are making the copy and paste of any information from a website without the permission. So this is the violation of property and the rights. Daily use of mobile computing device will eventually make people more dependent on them instead of relying on their own potentials. Limitations: without proper protection, hackers can install spyware on their mobile devices for capturing credit card information, account login detail, and password, which can be very harmful. Wireless mobile communication has the limitation of low processing capabilities, high error rate, and low storage availability. Handheld mobile devices have the limitation of small display, low memory, limited battery power, and limited CPU power. So these are the limitations which we have in our mobile phones. A mobile phone is an electronic device used for mobile telecommunication over a cellular network of specialized base station known as cell site. A cell phone offers a full duplex communication and transfer the link when the user moves from one cell to another. As the phone user moves from one cell area to another, the system automatically commands the mobile phone and a cell site with the strongest signal to switch on to a new frequency in order to keep the link. And the mobile device communication architecture include the following wireless communication capabilities. So first of all, we have web protocol stack. Then we have wireless markup language, WML, and then we have wireless application protocol. Web protocol stack, HTTP, TCP, IP. So stack means when we have a combination of protocols. So web protocol stack consists of TCP, IP, and HTTP. TCP, IP, transmission control protocol, IP, internet protocol, and HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. Its purpose is to allow two computers to communicate with each other over the internet. When a message is sent over internet, it is translated from text form to electronic signals at the source computer and then translate back to the text form at the destination computer. Every computer needs protocol stack to communicate over the internet, and it is usually built in the operating system such as Windows. The protocol stack used for the internet is known as TCP/IP protocol stack. And as you can view on the diagram here, we have application TCP/IP and hardware. Then we have an internet connection. Here you can view this is application, then TCP protocol, transmission control protocol we have. Then we have internet protocol, then it's sent to the hardware. This is the source computer. Here we have an internet connection. This is the destination computer. And this is the sending computer. This is the receiving computer. Here we have a physical and internet connection, and then pass to the data to the destination computer. Then hardware will receive, pass to the IP protocol, then TCP, and then application convert into the back into the application. Okay, so how messages sent over internet from source to destination computer over a network. This shows you how message can transfer and translate from one source computer to destination computer. So the TCP/IP model is the set of communication protocol used for the internet and other similar network. It is named from two of the most important protocols in a transmission control protocol TCP and the internet protocol IP, which were the first two networking protocols defined in this standard. The most well-known network that adopted TCP is the internet, the biggest one in the world. So all the communication on the internet based on TCP/IP. So here the TCP/IP architecture you can view, and if you remember in previous lectures we have already discussed about this TCP/IP architecture and the layers of TCP/IP architecture. Here, four basic layers we have. This is a concise model of OSI layer. This is a concise form of OSI model. Here we have a four layers: application layer, transport layer, network layer, or network interface layer. The OSI model we just looked at just a reference model. It was designed to describe the function of the communication system by dividing the communication procedure into smaller and simpler components. But when we talk about the TCP/IP model, it was designed and developed by Department of Defense in 1960s and is based on a standard protocol. It stands for Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. It's based on a stands for Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. The TCP/IP model is a concise version of the OSI model. It contains 4 layers, unlike 7 layers in the OSI model. The layers are process and application layer, host to host, transport layer, internet layer, and network access layer. So these are the layers of TCP/IP architecture. So data link layer also called the link layer, network interface layer. This what handle the physical part of sending and receiving data using the Ethernet cable, wireless network, network interface card, device driver in the computer, and so on. Then we have internet layer. The internet layer is also called the network layer, control the movement of packets around the network. Then we have transport layer. The transport layer is what provides a reliable data connection between two devices. It divides the data in packets, acknowledge the packet that it has received from the other device, and make sure that the other device acknowledge the packet it received. Then we have application layer. The application layer is the group of applications that require network communication. This is what the user typically interact with, such as email messaging. Because the lower layer handle the detailed communication, the application don't need to concern themselves with this. So this is a TCP/IP stack, and this is the architecture of your TCP/IP network. Here, application, transport, and internet and network layer. Thank you, student. Inshallah, in next lecture, we will continue with the next topic, WML and WAP WAP protocol. Till then, Allah Hafiz.